I'm Christina Moy, and welcome to the Digipalms podcast. Here we cut through the fluff and dive into the real world of media and marketing, spicing it up with diverse, engaging stories. Each episode brings you actionable insights and practical tips from our own marketing adventures. Whether you're a startup founder, a seasoned marketer, or just a curious listener, there's something here for you. Ready to transform your marketing strategies into success stories? Join us to explore the art and science of media and marketing, learn from our successes and setbacks, and put our expert advice into practice. Don't forget to subscribe and visit thedigipalms.com for more. Let's get started.
I don't wanna go up solo loco, don't you wanna come with
All right, so we just explored En route Jewelry and their wild factory hack strategy.
Yeah, really flipping the script on the whole industry.
Big time. And speaking of shaking things up, we've got Caraway Kitchen on deck today.
Those gorgeous pots and pans, right?
Yeah, the Instagram famous ones. But here's the kicker. The whole thing started because the founder, Jordan Nathan, almost died.
Seriously?
No joke. Got a brutal case of Teflon flu from his own cookware.
Whoa, wait, Teflon flu? What even is that?
Sounds kind of sci-fi, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, should I be worried about my pans right now?
We're diving deep into that today.
Okay, good. We've actually got Kenny Martinez's take on this, and it's a wild ride.
Oh, perfect. I love Kenny's stuff.
Yeah, he really gets into the nitty-gritty. So Jordan's making scrambled eggs, totally normal morning, right? And bam, 104-degree fever, straight to the ER.
Oh my God.
Turns out the fumes from his nonstick pan were full of toxic chemicals.
So that's the Teflon flu. Not an actual medical term, I'm guessing.
Not exactly, but it shines a light on something the cookware industry doesn't want us to know. They've known about the dangers of those nonstick coatings for ages.
Hold on, seriously. Like, how long?
Forever, basically. There's research linking Teflon fumes to bird deaths, even.
No way. That's awful.
Yeah, especially for parrot owners.
Right. Imagine. But
Yeah.
how does this whole thing turn into a $250 million business? Was it just about making safer cookware?
There's a lot more to it. It's not just about being safe. It's a total experience revolution. Think about it. Eco-friendly cookware before Caraway was, well,
Kind of boring.
exactly. Earthy tones, clunky designs. You wouldn't exactly show those off, would you?
Yeah, it was all about function over form.
Right. But that's where Caraway is so smart. They realize today's consumer wants it all. Safety, high performance, and it's got to look good.
Makes sense. Got to fit the aesthetic, right?
Exactly. So they ditched the crunchy granola look and went full-on chic. Matte finishes, cool colors like sage and cream stuff that pops on Instagram.
So they basically made safe cookware sexy.
You got it. And it's about more than just looks, it's psychology.
Ooh, interesting. How so?
People are overwhelmed with choices these days. They want products that reflect their values. A&D look amazing in their lives. Caraway cookware isn't just a tool, it's a statement.
It's like saying, I'm healthy, eco-conscious, and I have great taste.
Spot on. But let's talk about the guilt-free subscription. $495 for a set. How do they get people to spend that much on cookware?
Yeah, that's a big investment.
It's clever. First, you got the lifetime replacement for chips. That's peace of mind, right? No more panicking when something gets damaged.
Makes sense. It's almost like insurance. You're not just buying cookware, you're buying a relationship with the brand.
Exactly. Plus, it plays into the eco-conscious mindset. No more throwaway culture. You're making a sustainable choice. It's like being part of a Caraway family, all about healthy and stylish cooking.
Smart move. They've built a whole lifestyle brand around cookware.
And then they take it a step further, total transparency. They don't hide their supply chain, they flaunt it. They've got a ceramics lab in Slovenia, steel from Ohio, even virtual factory tours on YouTube.
Wait, hold up. Virtual factory tours? That's wild. Most companies treat their production like a top secret mission.
Right. But Caraway's like, nothing to hide here, we're proud of it. It builds so much trust.
It's like they're saying, come on in, see how we do it. You'll love it, we promise.
And it's working. 22% of their customers switched over from Le Creuset. That's huge.
Wow, stealing customers from Le Creuset. They must have some serious marketing magic going on.
They do. It's not just about non-toxic, it's about fear to FOMO. One ad asks, your pan shouldn't be the most toxic thing at your dinner party.
Oh, wow, that's potent. Plays on our fears, but also makes you want to be in the in crowd.
Exactly. It creates urgency, makes you not want to miss out, and people are ditching their old stuff left and right to join the Caraway movement.
So we've got a compelling origin story. The commitment to non-toxic materials, the focus on aesthetics, the clever subscription model, radical transparency, and marketing that plays on both fear and social proof. What a combo.
A recipe for success. And it reminds me of En route, actually. Remember how they turned the secrecy of high-end jewelry into a selling point? Caraway is doing the same with cookware.
It's fascinating how these different brands are using similar strategies to shake up their industries. Makes you wonder, what other everyday products are ripe for a Caraway-style revolution?
That's the question, isn't it? What needs a makeover? What needs a dose of transparency and style? We should explore that.
We should. But first, let's break down those parallels between Caraway and En route a little further. What jumps out at you?
Well, the transparency thing is huge. Both brands are basically saying, look, we're not hiding anything. We're proud of how we do things, and we know our products are top-notch.
That's about building trust.
Right.
Which is so important these days with so many choices. Consumers want to believe in the brands they support.
Absolutely. And it's not just about being honest, it's about being engaging. Like those factory tours Caraway offers and En route letting you peek behind the scenes in their workshops. That kind of access was unheard of before.
Yeah, they're not just selling you something, they're inviting you in.
Exactly. It's about building a relationship. And that's something a lot of traditional brands are struggling with.
So the takeaway is, transparency isn't just a tactic anymore, it's the foundation of how brands need to operate now.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And for any brands out there trying to figure this out, resources like thedigipalms.com are a goldmine. They help brands disrupt their industries and connect with their audiences in authentic ways.
Awesome. I bet a lot of our listeners will want to check that out. But before we move on, let's circle back to Caraway for a sec. It's amazing how they went from a health scare to a movement that's changing the game for an entire industry.
Right. It shows that even the biggest industries can be disrupted, especially when someone addresses a real consumer need in a way that's authentic, innovative, and even stylish.
All starting with a pan of scrambled eggs. It's a pretty inspiring story, and a little bit scary too. It makes you think about all the hidden dangers lurking in everyday stuff.
It's a wake-up call, for sure. But it also shows that we have the power to demand better. We can choose to support companies that align with our values.
And sometimes, we can even inspire those companies to change for the better, like what happened with Caraway. So what do you think? What's next for them? Where do they go from here? And what does their success tell us about the future of consumerism? We'll be diving into all of that right after, well, no break needed, actually. We're just going to keep rolling.
Sounds good to me. Let's keep this conversation cooking.
Okay, so they're on a roll, but where do they go from here? What's next for Caraway? And bigger picture, what does this all mean for how people are buying stuff?
That's the big question, right? I think they're just getting started. They've tapped into this huge desire for conscious consumerism. And honestly, I bet they go way beyond just cookware.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. What else could they, like Caraway-ify?
Endless possibilities. Think about areas where people want transparency, ethical stuff. Personal care is a big one.
Skincare, makeup, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Imagine Caraway branded stuff, all natural ingredients, sustainable packaging, the whole deal.
That's a great idea. People care so much about what goes on their bodies, just like what they eat. It fits right in with the whole clean living trend.
Right. And they've already got that trust, that name recognition. People connect Caraway with quality, safety, style. That's huge.
It's funny, we started talking about how they made cookware sexy.
Yeah.
Now we're talking skincare. It's like they made being ethical desirable.
That's it. They took something niche and made it mainstream. I think it's part of a bigger shift. Consumers are demanding more. They want to know where stuff comes from, how it's made, what impact it all has.
It's not just about the product anymore. It's the values behind it.
Exactly. And brands that ignore that, they're in trouble. Like the backlash against fast fashion, people are realizing that cheap clothes come at a cost.
It all circles back to what we saw with En route. Luxury doesn't have to be unethical. In fact, it can drive positive change.
Right. People are willing to pay more for things that match their values. It's not quality or conscience anymore, it's both.
So Caraway and En route are leading the pack, showing the world you can do well, A&D do good.
And it resonates with people, especially younger generations, who are super aware of these issues.
Yeah, it's a statement. It's saying, this brand gets me, they're on the same page.
Which takes us back to what else needs disrupting. I think we'll see more brands doing the Caraway thing, transparency, ethical sourcing, all that.
And it's not just about feeling good, it's good business.
Yeah.
Consumers reward brands that are making a difference.
It's a win-win. Good products, good values, everyone benefits.
So for everyone listening, what's the one big thing they should take away from all this?
Transparency is everything. Whether you're buying or selling, honesty is key.
It's about being upfront about how you do things, your values, doing the right thing.
Right. And it's not just about avoiding bad stuff. It's about actively doing good.
So as we wrap up this Caraway deep dive, think about this. What everyday product could use a Caraway-style makeover?
What needs to be more transparent, more sustainable, maybe a little more stylish too?
Think about it. Maybe your idea will be the next big thing.
Definitely something to think about. And if you're feeling inspired, the digipalms.com can help. They've helped tons of brands navigate this stuff.
Awesome. We'll have to check that out. It's amazing how Caraway started with a health scare and turned into a force for change in how we shop.
It really shows the power of innovation, authenticity, and understanding what people actually care about.
And it all started with scrambled eggs. Who knew breakfast could be so revolutionary?
You never know where inspiration will strike.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about the consumer side of things, but I'm curious about the business strategy behind Caraway's success. What can other entrepreneurs learn from their approach?
That's a great question. There's a lot to unpack there for sure. One thing that stands out to me is their laser focus on a specific problem. They didn't try to be everything to everyone. They honed in on the issue of toxic cookware and built their entire brand around solving that problem.
Yeah, they found a pain point and went all in on addressing it.
Exactly. And they didn't just offer a solution, they offered a better experience. Remember, they didn't just make safe cookware. They made it beautiful, stylish, aspirational. They tapped into the emotional side of things.
So it's not enough to just have a good product.
Yeah.
You have to create a desire for it.
Right. You have to make people feel something. Caraway tapped into that desire for healthy living, for stylish kitchens, for belonging to a community.
It's like they created a whole lifestyle around their cookware.
Exactly. And that's something any entrepreneur can learn from. Find a problem that people are passionate about. Offer a solution that's not just functional, but also emotionally resonant, and build a community around your brand.
That's powerful stuff. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. What's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the biggest takeaway is this. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. Don't be afraid to be different, to be bold, to stand for something. Caraway didn't just create a product, they created a movement. And that's what makes them so successful.
Beautifully said. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be inspired to create the next Caraway, the next brand that changes the world, one pan, one piece of jewelry, one whatever it may be at a time. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. You know, it's wild, right? Scrambled eggs lead to a revolution. Jordan's Teflon flu wasn't just about him, it exposed a whole industry.
Yeah, it's amazing how one person's story can change things. And it proves how important authenticity is. People connect with real stories, especially when someone overcomes something tough.
Totally. And it's not just about the story, it's what he did about it. He didn't just complain, he made a solution, challenged the whole system and started a movement.
It shows how powerful entrepreneurship can be. Caraway isn't just selling cookware. They're selling a better way to live, a healthier way.
Right. Sustainable, conscious choices, all that. And they make it look good too. Ethical, but cool. That's not easy.
That's the thing, isn't it? They tapped into this shift. People want to support brands that reflect their values, make them feel good.
Like voting with your wallet, right? People realizing their choices have power.
Exactly. And brands are noticing. They're seeing that transparency, ethical sourcing, sustainability. It's not optional anymore. It's how you win.
So big picture, what do you want our listeners to take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is we're all part of this change. How we buy things, how we do business, we need to be more aware, more demanding.
We can't just accept things as they are. Got to challenge the status quo, ask questions, expect better.
Yeah, and support brands like Caraway who are leading the charge. Hold others accountable and make conscious choices ourselves.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Caraway Kitchen, one last thought.
Right.
What can you change in your life to be a more conscious consumer?
Could be anything, right? switching to a sustainable brand, researching a company before you buy, just thinking more about what you're consuming.
Every bit makes a difference. We have the power to shape the world, one choice at a time. And maybe one of those choices will involve a delicious meal, cooked in a beautiful, non-toxic pan. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Don't waste my time.
I am Christina Moy, and thank you for tuning into the DigiPalms podcast. Don't leave just yet. Subscribe to our community and never miss out on our cutting-edge discussions. See you next time.